have that energy and I get that goal setting in my mind and try to step forward every time. And I think that is important. And it's not really important to accomplish everything, but just trying to make sure I'm doing something every day and getting better than yesterday, that makes a difference. And the starting point is dreaming big. Yeah.
Okay.
I think making sure everyone that I am really meaning something in the conversation really matters. We try to build a trust system here, but it failed. Working, studying too much could be not sustainable. And I try to have water in my water bottle. The water can be filled only by the amount of the bottle size. I believe these are the experiences that I'm making sure the technology is not only there for earning money, but make everyone's life better.
I can see that you're proactive and a self-starter.
Not only earn money through the job, but also wants to make good values and try to communicate with people to know better by myself as well, but learning together and make the world a little bit more closer to each other as well.
And I took a look at your schedule. I read your resume, and it is quite impressive, and I think you might be able to help us. So if you've got about 15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to ask for that time to ask you a series of behavioral-based questions. And then at the end of that, I'll give you a chance to ask me any questions that you might have. The first thing is that I may not always be staring at the screen because I am taking notes that will later help me make a decision, but I hope to be able to make a decision during the course of our conversation because when I look at your track record, specifically some of the things that you have done, I think yours might be an easy decision for me. So if you don't have any questions about the process, I'll just jump right in.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. How did you learn about this position?
Yeah, so I learned it yesterday by logging into the career website. And I saw this was up, and I know is really close to where I'm staying right now. And I thought the schedule was very flexible for me to this semester. And the information I saw from the opening was very fitting with me. And I highly agree with the values and virtues that the organization wants to spread on campus, and I think it will be a great fit for me. So that's how I got to know and apply for the position.
Okay. Tell me about yourself. What's your 30-second commercial?
I am a person who wants to change the world through information and accessibility. I believe nowadays a lot of information is around the internet. However, not everyone is able to access. Therefore, I have the mindset of accessibility to make sure a lot of information and the services, especially in the digital world, could be used by a lot of people, including a lot of marginalized people around the world. And because of that, I'm currently pursuing my master's degree currently I'm also leading a startup in Korea, which is connecting the people who do not have a lot of facilities to go to groceries by themselves to be matched with another person around their village or their building. And I believe these are the experiences that I'm making sure the technology is not only there for earning money, but make everyone's life better.
Okay, thank you for that. Are you familiar with and why work and study here?
To be honest, this is a new community and the organization. However, I wanted to research a bit before coming to the interview, and it was impressive that there are a lot of things going on, especially trying to make the diversity better and more educate a lot of students on campus and staffs as well to make sure this community and the university to be more inclusive.
Okay, thank you for that. Tell me about your first job.
My first job. I have worked in many different organizations, but I would like to talk about my first internship. It was 2017. It was right after my exchange studies, and then I went back to Korea. And it was a digital media assistant role, which I worked at UNHCR, which is the UN Refugee Agency, and it was in Seoul. I was trying to help the media and data specialist in the Seoul office for making sure the people in Korea knows about what's going on in the world, especially for refugees. At that time, there was not many people who acknowledge and who know that refugees are there. Especially Korea is far from the places physically, but nowadays a lot of people know. And to make sure people know about these stories all around the world about the refugees, I was making media content, including videos, blog posts, and a lot of fundraising media posts to make sure the educating and also making sure the community to be more inclusive to the people who are not only in Korea but also internationally. And one of the blog posts I designed was able to fulfill the fundraising over 200%, which was very impressive because we finished the 100% in 1 week, 2 weeks, yeah. And then also it was a very rewarding job for me because even though I was not being paid, I was able to learn a lot, and then I was able to know what I want to pursue afterwards the internship. I learned I'm a person who wants to not only earn money through the job, but also wants to make good values and try to communicate with people to know better by myself as well, but learning together and make the world a little bit more closer to each other as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that. That was a very good response. In fact, my next question would have led to one about initiative, but as I listened to your story, the blog post that you created for your community certainly answered that question for me as well. So I can see that you're proactive and a self-starter. My next question jumps to, what's the most useful criticism you've ever received?
Yes, I think the most useful criticism I've ever received was from my friend who said I am sometimes pretty destructive. And that comment was coming from when we were walking together on the street, and we were actually talking about a topic, but I was easily getting distracted by other things on the street, so I switched the topic. And when I heard that comment, I was very surprised at first, and then frustrated, to be honest, because I thought I was a person who was good at switching gears and switching topics smoothly. But the reason behind she wanted to let me know was she felt I was not listening to her story or her comments when we were talking about a certain topic. And then I learned what I need to improve was fulfillingly and finishing a conversation and switching to another topic is important. And this was a learning point for me to know that communication is always two-way, round trip, not a one-way trip. And sometimes I need to be more considerate for letting the other person that I am in the conversation, not just trying to talk in one way. So after that, I was being more caring about the communication and talking between any meetings or any kind of conversation I have at work or out of work. And this helped me to become a better communicator in many different situations. Because I believe at work or out of work, we always have these meetings, small talks, and I think making sure everyone that I am really meaning something in the conversation really matters. And I felt and learned how communication could be developed and improve after that criticism.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Tell me about a time when you had to deal with a coworker or a project mate who wasn't doing his or her fair share of the work. What did you do and what was the outcome?
Yes, so to be honest, I've been a lot of different team projects. I had good teams, bad teams. I can come up with one team project I've done last semester. So I was working with 4 different people of 4, including myself, and I was not supposed to be, like, everyone was in a very, there was no leader who was leading, but I, as a person who not only likes to support the team, but also loves to lead a team and who's very proactive, I always come up with the conversation that now it's for the time for us to move forward, or next milestones are like this, how can we plan out? There was one student, we were all students, and one graduate student who was not responding to our messages. And even though in the beginning of our project, because things happen, we had an agreement, and I suggested that if anyone has something in their life, please, we should be open and talk about, like, I'm sick or I'm busy, so I can't be responsive for a certain time. Or if that doesn't work, afterwards, we need to make sure that other person talk about why we weren't responsive, at least. However, that coworker didn't do that, and then we had a conversation because I thought one time could be happen, but if we fix it, we can fix it. So we did a conversation that we need to fix it, and then whoever, including myself, do not reply like this long, we will be punished by buying a good meal to everyone. But unfortunately, he did it again and again, and he didn't even buy us a meal. But the important thing here was we tried to build a trust system here, but it failed. And I told that student that we agreed to this fact, and you said you're not gonna do it again, but it was repeating all the time. And other students were also angry at this point. Therefore, I told how he could have improved, but he didn't improve, and we got disappointed. And we managed to talk to our supervisor, who is our professor, to make everything clear and also very transparent, as other people had to take care of his work because he didn't he didn't finish his responsibility. Therefore, we eventually finished his work, and then we we couldn't go faster to our professor because there was a big deadline that this communication cost was really huge, and maybe we have able to talk to the professor before him, but we trusted him and we gave him like plenty of opportunities, so we couldn't go faster. But eventually we told about everything, and the professor told us she appreciated that we were talking to her about it. And then eventually the project went successful and we finished our job, and
Okay.
that was it. But I feel trust in working is really important, and I'm a person who tries to not put my responsibility to others, at least if I have a big thing, I will be very clear and talk about that in advance. However, there's some times, but I think it happens. Yeah.
Yes, indeed it does. So I've been able to learn a little about you. I know that you're a master's student. I know that you're leading a startup. So that leads me to ask you, what's been your biggest frustration as you've lived this scenario, particularly as a college student?
My biggest frustration. My biggest frustration was I think it's time management.
I thought you were going to say time zone.
Oh,
I was in the neighborhood.
time zone. To be honest, I'm making the most out of out of it that I'm living in different time zones. I mean, I'm in the Eastern Standard Time right now, but I'm communicating with my Korean colleagues in Korea, which is 14 hours different. And also there was one colleague who was in London, which was in the middle. And I think I was very blessed with that different time zone because over here, if it's like morning, it's night over there, and it's vice versa. So when I wake up, I can always do a meeting with them. But it was blessing and also a disaster at the same time because that means I did every work except the time that I go to school and I do schoolwork. So I was working all the time, like 24/7. No, that was not true. Maybe 21 or 20, I don't, at least 18 times. Like, and that was able for me to accomplish a lot of things at the same time, which I feel that was a big blessing for me. But I figured out that sometimes working, studying too much could be not sustainable. Therefore, I was finding and figuring out the right way to manage my time, energy, and make a sustainable system for myself and the company. And thankfully, I think I figured it out from a few weeks ago, and also a very good break, very good winter break with good food and good people. And after those fulfillment, now I have a good schedule, which especially I think it's able because I have less credits this semester. And I recruited more teammates who I can believe and depend on. So before that, I thought I need to do everything. I need to micromanage everything, but that was wrong. Now I have that trust in my teammates, and the team has changed in a good way. And also my schedule for the school has been a little bit more relaxed than before. Therefore, I think this year is gonna be different from last year in terms of having that peaceful mind in the core, but working and studying at the same time.
Okay, thank you. So you've applied for our position. I am looking at you possibly being able to provide support in that role, but also possibly as office assistant support. So as you think about that, and when you look at the job description for the what characteristics do you think are important in that position?
For the position I applied for, I think it's important to be very punctual because I will be the person who will greet the users and the visitors, and also be very responsible whenever someone asks me any questions. Therefore, I acknowledge the fact that I would be not able to answer all of the questions at that time. However, I would be very vigilant and versatile that I could let them know who the person I need to contact and come back to them. And the interpersonal skills are very important as well. I don't know if you could feel, but I'm good at talking. I'm good at small talks. I love small talks. And I think being, I think it's really important to make sure the visitors are doing what they want from the library. And I think I have those skills by working in different organizations, especially in libraries. When I was an undergrad for 2 years, I was able to help the users of the libraries whenever they came to ask me for different questions, not only for books, but also for database access or room rentals or other public goods rentals.
Okay. How have you changed personally since you first started your master's experience?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
How have you changed personally since you started your master's experience? Because I know that you've done internship at another university, but life at Michigan began as a master's student?
Mm-hmm. Yes. As a master's student, I understand and I learned sometimes, I think I learned I need to dream bigger. It is because when I dream big, I accomplish at least the amount of the dream I've dreamed. I think people sometimes, including myself, can be easily limited by a lot of things. For example, when I try to have water in my water bottle, the water can be filled only by the amount of the bottle size. So I felt the size of the dream could be bigger and bigger, but sometimes I limit myself. But that's not healthy. I could dream whatever I can dream, but there should be a realistic reasons why I dream about that in the bottom line as well. So it could be realistic. I learned this because when I was coming to my master's, I was dreaming about interning and getting a full-time job in California as a UX designer, and also thought of meeting good people and be an expert in my industry. And also at the time, I was also trying to make my startup. So I was thinking of, could I do it at the same time or not? I was hesitant. I was not sure. However, I thought if I dream big and try to persist that, maybe it will work or not. I can't say because I dreamed big that got accomplished, but if I have that dream and a very clear purpose, I have that energy and I get that goal setting in my mind and try to step forward every time. And I think that is important. And it's not really important to accomplish everything, but just trying to make sure I'm doing something every day and getting better than yesterday, that makes a difference. And the starting point is dreaming big. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Why are you the best person for this position?
I'm the best person for this position because I have those interpersonal skills. I'm very energetic. I'm open to learn. And to be honest, I think I have a lot of room to learn from this organization by working in the position that I apply for. And also, because I can learn, that means I have new information and I can also spread that to the people who come to, and also to my community who is not actually a lot knowledgeable to this industry and the topics. And also, I have the right skills of being punctual and also the best thing that is I'm living really near to him. So I am very sure that I can be punctual.
Okay. What else should I know about you?
Maybe you should know about me that I like to talk with people. So I might able to, if you are okay, I might have small talks with you. And I love to reflect myself by recording and also like writing journals. So you'll just see me if I take random pictures on streets or in the gallery with the consent of everyone, and also I ask a lot of questions. Therefore, yeah, maybe if we work together, that will be one thing that you will see me.
Any questions that you might have for me? I'm through asking questions, and
Yeah.
the floor is yours.
Yes.